a missing member of the Saturday call team has demanded a bit of airtime, Spud.
Well, last week we had leading teams, the 360 degree, where myself, James Brayshaw, Garry and the Warrior had to give each other some feedback. And what sort of went through to the keeper, Schwatta, was the fact that Garry has got a magnificent pet, and it's a cat.
Not mine.
And he...
Don't talk here.
Quiet.
You just be quiet.
He reckons the cat talks to him.
Really?
When he's got a little bit of downtime. It's and what we actually had a couple of refreshments last night, and it got to the point where it was a 15 minutes we spent on it. We'll only spend a couple of minutes on it, and then we'll throw to the grabber last week.
Did you say to me, and you said it seriously, did you say to me that your cat actually talks?
Gary,
you did not say those words.
Did you say your cat doesn't meow, it talks?
What?
You're going down a
Gary,
real
say that?
dangerous path.
Did you say that?
Private conversations can't come up, Jim.
What does it say, Gaz, just for the benefit of our Triple M family?
Walk. Oh, yes, it does, Jim.
Oh, where are we at? Something's gone wrong with him.
Well, we backed over it last night again, didn't we, Warren?
We did.
And
we got a bit more out of him.
And not only a bit of action work, it paws him when it's hungry.
Yep. Now you're putting oh, no, it does do that. I'll tell you what else came up at leading teams. And this, I can talk about the talking cat, that's a reality, but one of the things with James Brayshaw was it's been worrying me for some time, and it was about the notion of leadership and your ability to push through when things get tough. And it's a long season, we know that, we all know that, we've all got lots on our plate. And one of the things that occurred to me as I was thinking about the leading teams was who made him captain anyway. I can't ever remember voting on that. Did you vote?
Well, luckily there's not a vote now.
No.
That's all I can say.
And it became blatantly obvious that he's an absent leader, and it's got to all of us.
Well, and especially this weekend, it's been great. With the sort of Friday,
it's very
get
much
on the
like
plane.
Mickey Arthur gone. Everyone just really comes out of their shell.
Got up this morning, we go to a plane, get on the plane again tonight, we go back to the airport.
That's it.
Shoulder arms.
Yeah, get through the hard yards together,
And if
Spud.
someone's dragging their feet behind, kicking an empty Coke can, we grab them in the
Sooking it
fold.
up. Exactly right.
One of the things about leadership, Spud, and you should know this, having captained St Kilda for a long time, is every now and then, if you're a strong leader, you can let go of the reins and let the underlings have a crack at it.
Yeah, but what are you doing, though?
So I'm letting you have a go, and from what I hear, things aren't particularly good. I'm hearing about pink suitcases, I'm hearing about talking cats, and things gone to pot.
Well, yeah, you know what we're like on the road, Jim. It's no different to when you're here.
Well, all as I know is, from what I understand last night, the People's Caller got a bit excited. He was elevated into the ones and he got a little excited. And
He did too.
And he over-raced, from what I hear.
Embarrassingly so.
That's what I hear. And then I hear that the great Wayne Schwatta, of course, two-time best and fairest at North Melbourne and then at the Sydney Swans, he found himself home and he got a little excited as well.
Well, once or twice.
So all I know is you introduce new players to the best environment, and not always are they be able to coach, so they're looking for leadership.
Hey, don't ever doubt their calling capacity. In fact, they were accurate. Jim?
That one, I like that. It's not always the most important thing, but it is important. And Gary, from what I hear, and I did hear a bit, extremely tough with driving rain and, of course, a poxy box. So, and that's of course talking about where you were sitting to watch the game. So therefore, Gary, we need to recognise the quality of the People's Caller and also Schwatta.
They didn't miss a beat, and our audience from the reaction on the Twitter this morning, Jim, the pack have spoken, and it's not much love for you, to be perfectly honest. There's the odd one. But,
now, Gary, there's something else I need to discuss.
Yeah.
We've always worried, I think worried's the right word, about what happened in Ballarat back in the 80s.
No, in our private moments, we have spoken about this.
Real concerned about the old schools back there and the treatment meted out.
Yes.
And what we've got in our main team is, I believe, the most homophobic man I've ever met.
Yes,
Who?
Jim. Just
Spud Frawley. And therefore, I'm concerned about the way he's rolling at the minute.
well, what I can tell you, Jim, and you are on shaky territory, so I'd shut up right now. Not sure whether you got the memo recently. What I can tell you is that he struts the chest out, our man Spud, and wanders around with a pink suitcase as proudly as any man you'd ever want to know, and he tries to palm it off as Manitas. That's basically where he gets to.
Yeah, but Spud, again, if you've got the strength of your convictions, you stand up and you say, I went and bought the suitcase, I like the look of it, and I'm happy to roll with it.
Look,
it's funny that 4 or 5 Nipsies from the airport that you're at have sent me photos of Spud wandering through with a pale pink number.
I was very happy with it, JB, but the weight of numbers, as you know, when you get some feedback and it's not all positive, the greatest player of all time in the Qantas lounge this morning said, Lee Matthews, of course, said,
Yes.
Danny, at least you won't lose it. And that one cut me to the core. When Lee Matthews, the greatest player and a magnificent coach, and he's an icon of the game, basically was taking the PI55 out of me as well, which really did hurt.
JB, we got a reaction, or Gaz had a reaction adversely to Schwatta's request for a soy mocha. What would yours have been?
Now, Wayne, if you're going to make it up, and you are a regular visitor up now into the one.
Maybe for not much longer, Jim.
Well, not if you go down that path. Soy is for your ABC styling. You go for your... In fact, we order the same coffee for every team member, and like it or not, you cop it.
Lessons learned.
Jim, a man well known to all of us, loves Triple M, listens religiously, even though he owns another radio station.
Yes, Craig Hutchison.
Yes, wants to know how the double-handed act of hosting with Robbo is going to go for an Ashes ad that he just heard on the radio. You and Robbo, just a two-hander.
Yeah, that's Alan Border and both from their lunches coming up this week. And if Robbo thinks he's getting any more than a couple of minutes, he's kidding himself.
That's not the way it's promoted, Jim. Hosts, co-hosted Michael Roberts and James Brayshaw.
Gary, all I know is this. I've seen the various sheets that are being handled out, and Robbo, a couple of shekels have tipped off the edge of the table for Robbo, whereas a considerable lad's going the other way. So if that's an indication of who's who in the zoo, then I think we know where we stand.
You dust a couple of shekels off for the old Robbo.
Yeah, we'll just work out how much is taken over the bar, and we might drip tray a couple for the Formers and Gilda Flyer.
Talking of power struggles, Troy Luff, JB,
Yes.
and the Warrior last night were seen out the back discussing who was going to do the Karcher down the boundary, and Luffy ended up winning.
Yep, well, I think that's a ding-dong right there. That's promotable. I think what happened is people had a look at the radar and quite wisely decided his talents were better allocated elsewhere.
He's elevating himself well above that. Right, we're just about had enough of you because we had something really going nicely before you jumped on and dragged us down. What are you actually doing?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I've just driven from Port Fairy to Warrnambool to buy my 5- and 7-year-old sons a footy each. And on the way along, Gary, we played that famous game called Windmill. Do you know how that works?
No, tell us all, please.
One of your kids spots a windmill, says windmill, and then you got to hand him a snake.
Well, that
Some
is
pretty sophisticated stuff in the Brayshaw car.
That's the sort of games that our Triple M audience would appreciate.
That's it.
And
That's
JB,
it.
just before we do let you go, I know you're worried about Gaz, and you're particularly worried about this cat that he's got and talks to him.
That's it. Well, and takes it for a walk on a leash.
No, don't do that. It
No, Gary.
walks on its own.
I don't want you just walk down the street with it and it just follows you.
No, it doesn't go down the street. I just walk around the property.
Around the property.
He's lost
You
it,
believe
JB.
the arrogance of this man. He does own his own suburb, so I suppose at that point we need to acknowledge that
He
the
has
cat's
lost
got
it,
plenty of
JB.
room.
The property.
He's lost it, Gaz. I'm feeling for him at the moment.
Well, all I know is this is a man who at one stage said that he couldn't stand cats. And suddenly his beautiful wife Melissa's introduced him to one, and now he's besotted.
That is absolutely true.
Drinks out of the tap with him.
Anyway, off you go, Jim.
Well, you'll enjoy the rest of the day and go to Kangaroo.
Windmill. Have fun playing windmills.
Right, bye-bye, Spud.